and that sets a lock. So when you stand at attention and you do this, get those legs really straight, you can stand like this for quite a while without expending a lot of energy. But if somebody comes up behind you, ever have this happen? Give you a clip right behind the knees, down you go because they unset the lock. So we have that kind of lock. No ape has that. Apes that walk on their knuckles have locking wrists, and Lucy has locking wrists. So get her off that posture like this and get her down on her knuckles so we can see what she really looked like. Now, here is what they portray as Lucy's feet. This is the most egregious misrepresentation in the whole Lucy thing. To this day, Lucy's feet are shown like this. They are virtually human in shape. They have ignored the bones that have been found of Australopithecus afarensis, showing that they couldn't have been looking like this at all. For example, going back to Stern and Sussman again. This is the toe bone. Look at the curvature compared to human. It's curved even by ape standards. These are apes. Here's how curved. These are apes. This is how curved Lucy is. So highly curved fingers and toes would not confuse either the hands or feet with a human. Now, it's interesting. The authors Stern and Sussman, their conclusion for hands and feet was this. There is no evidence that any existing primate has long, curved, heavily muscled hands and feet for any purpose other than to meet the demands of full or part-time tree-dwelling, arboreal life. So that was their conclusion. Now, Lucy to this day continues to be shown with human feet, even though we know better. For example, Discover magazine, back in 1996, and it's no different today, ignored the bones that could have been used to show what the feet look like and simply replaced the feet with human feet. Now, why? If we have bones that show the highly curved toes, why would you just ignore them and put human feet on afarensis or Lucy? I'm glad you asked. You see, here are the feet, and the article said, why did we ever get up on 2 feet? Okay. The reason they must put human feet on Lucy is because they adamantly insist that a creature like Lucy made those footprints that Mary Leakey found in Lutoli, Tanzania, about 800 or 900 miles away from where Lucy was found, by the way. And Mary Leakey found footprints. It was a trail 73 feet long. There were 20 larger footprints, the ones you see here, and it's left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, off into the distance. These are made in a volcanic ash. There are volcanoes in this area to this day that when they erupt, if it's raining at the time, the ash sort of sets up like plaster or cement. And so somebody must have been walking in wet volcanic ash, left these footprints behind. They were subsequently, and I would think very quickly, filled in with water-deposited sediment so that they've been preserved since they were made. Now, Mary Leakey and others believe that they are 4 million years old, which happens to be the current age of Lucy. And so Johansen insisted from the get-go when these were discovered that his Lucy made those footprints, or afarensis made those footprints. Now, in addition to the bigger individual, notice there's another set of footprints. Notice the stride for the big ones. This, 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 this. Look at the stride for the smaller ones. See how they had to increase the stride to keep up? So a smaller person was making bigger steps to keep up with the footprints of a larger person. And then this is neat. When Mary Leakey told me this, I had to get off the floor. She gave this lecture shortly after she found this at Washington University School of Medicine. Actually, it was in the main campus. And I heard the presentation. There's a third set of footprints up here. And you can look very carefully and you won't see them because there's the big set here and the small set here. Guess where the little set is? Each footprint, without missing a beat, is on top of the big footprints. And this little individual really had to do something like this to keep up. Now, when Mary mentioned this, you could see she was visibly embarrassed. First, she knows they weren't human. She knows there's some kind of an ape man. She's absolutely certain it wasn't Lucy because she knows Lucy doesn't have feet that could make this kind of a footprint. Johansen says Mary Leakey doesn't know very much about evolution, so the two have been in a big squabble over this. But today most people like to think among evolutionists that a creature like Lucy made these footprints. But Mary talked about those little prints. She said, you know, it's interesting. Some tetrapods step in their own footprints, but she says this is clearly not a four-legged tetrapod. She says the Maasai, when they hunt, step in one another's footprints to keep the noise down. And then she was sort of embarrassed, and she said, and of course, little children just love to step in their elders' footprints in the snow and the mud and what have you. This is what one of those prints looked like when they were still fresh. By the way, they're supposed to be 4 million years old, but in the years since she found them back in the 80s, they have been absolutely disappearing. In other words, they're so fragile, so friable, that they're breaking down. They even recovered them, and they're still breaking down. But when it was fresh, this is the way the foot looked. Now, if you're a human anatomist, this is distinctly human. Not just in shape, here are the features you can look for, but it's the way the foot hits the ground and we push off as we walk. Humans have a distinctive left-right stride. Their heel hits first, and then the force goes up along the outside of the foot to the little toe, across the base of the toes, and we push off with our big toe. Absolutely human. I had an opportunity to ask Mary Leakey at a reception after her presentation the following question. Since you concede that they're virtually identical to habitually unshod modern humans, why not at least consider the possibility that they're human? And in that tone of voice that the British use for colonists, she said, "Oh, but surely you must know there were no humans around." Well, that settles that. People ask me all the time, how come we don't find human fossils in old strata? Hey, how about this one? What happens when you do? They get disqualified. Either the strata isn't as old as they thought it was because you found human fossils there, or they say it's not human. How are you going to stay ahead of that one? By the way, those of you that still don't know how to tell 8 feet from human feet, I thought I would throw this in. Another thing they talk about is Lucy's knee. I'll bet you've probably all heard about Lucy's knee at one time or another.